live from Club Oasis, the Fox Cave Chronicles, with your very own Mr. Nasty Rude Motherfucking Dog. And now my host, Miss Foxy.
Damn, y'all ain't gonna clap for me? Clap for me! Clap for me, man!
I can't see what I'm doing. Well, I'm supposed to see what I'm doing.
You in my house tonight. It's your girl Foxy, and who do we have in the cave tonight?
Rude Dog. Nasty Rude. I don't know how long we're gonna be able to keep him out. Yeah, we're going back to the 80s, Miss Foxy.
Okay, I'm here for it.
1982.
I'm here for it, man. Oh, this a oh.
Okay, let me stop.
Oh,
I might have to bring Mr. Hey out.
I want to meet all of them.
Oh, look at that.
I want to meet all of them.
Cherry, Lil Howard. Who else? Lil Howard, Cherry, SOLA, straight out of Los Angeles. Rude Dog.
All of them.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Hey, Community Strong Ford, Jackson, MS.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be professional. See?
No, we come over here. You got to get loose, man. Let it all out.
I don't have the knees I used to have.
Oh my God!
You better hold
you stop a hole in the place.
Hold your hand up.
Yeah.
When I get up like this, I used to get them up. Now I start leaning.
Oh my God, man. I'm glad to have you here. We definitely gonna get into it. We're gonna chop it up.
Okay.
But first, if anyone would like to be a guest for season 5 of the Fox Cave Chronicles, guess what? It's too late.
You ain't had me.
We are booked up for the rest of the season. Season 5 started in July of last year, and again, which means a whole year of bringing y'all
congratulations
interviews with Mississippi music artists, entrepreneurs, business owners, Black-owned businesses. Any and everybody has been on this show. The platform is for everybody. You feel me? So if you didn't get a chance to get in for season 5, guess what? Season 6 is on the way. So book your dates for season 6. We're gonna say 26. Foxy Finds Love, a reality TV dating experience. At first I was gonna say like, and I was like, no, Foxy, I don't know youngins, you know. So
I like the little honeys.
I ain't gonna do the little honeys. So I'm thinking probably like maybe 30, 35.
Okay. And what's the cap of age? What's the cap on the age?
Ain't no cap on the age.
So I can come and audition?
Come on, granddaddies, grandfathers, uncles. We want them all. But I get into the show. Let's go ahead and get into it with Mr. Hey.
Boogity bow wow.
Can we get into it?
Let's get into it. Can I start off with a little something?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my journey is about redemption. It's about love. It's
shout out.
Places, entertainment, relationships. And I want to thank you for coming out of your cave and coming out and being a part of the red carpet through the Jackson Resource Center. I want to thank Aisha Lewis and her team for connecting me with you.
Absolutely.
And, it just goes to show that there's enough work, there's enough opportunity, there's enough love to go around. So it is an honor and a privilege. This is Mr. Hey talk. No, this is Howard talking now.
Howard.
This is Howard Sanders talking. So we are really humble. And not only are we humble, but it's great to be around people that have a resilience about, hey, I am going to do what the Lord has blessed me with. So congratulations for what you're doing, 5 seasons. And I'm right behind you, and I'm excited and look forward to 3 more segments. Maybe not this year, but maybe I can do a segment a year. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, because I've got a story to share. Always rise. If I could tell you anything to save you the time and the lessons in life, I would tell you never let anything that happens turn you bitter. Don't let the pain of something that was out of your hands turn you cold. Love, stay soft, as hard as that is sometimes. I don't do the word try. Conviction with all of your heart to stay tender. I know there are a lot of things that hurt. Take us to our knees and threaten our hearts. Let it go. You can't change it, but you can choose to not let it change you. Don't let the pain define you. You're bigger than that. I hope you know you're never how someone makes you feel. You're never how someone makes you feel. You're never how someone makes you feel. Let it hurt, because when it finishes hurt, when the burning stops, that means the healing starts. But don't linger there. Remember who you are and rise and rise and rise. Thank you for allowing me to share that.
That's deep.
Yeah,
That's
let me
deep.
rise. Let
I
me
love
rise.
that.
Yeah. I tend to believe that when we give other people the power over us by blaming someone, it takes away your power to make a change and to place yourself in a different position. So that's what, always rise, always rise. Fall down 100 times, get up 101 times. Fall down 4 more, 106 times. So just keep rising. We come from that kind of history, elders, ancestors. So just keep rising. All right. Thank you, Ms. Fox.
I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love that. That's very encouraging. Positivity.
Where's my table? I got a table.
Man, you not.
I need to put this shit in my pocket.
He take over everything. So you got space, man.
I got two phones
right there.
Oh, also, when I came on the show, if you don't get anything else, don't let the Fox Cave Chronicles cheat you out of your own personal bottle of water. And it is wet.
I know it.
I really wanted to wet me. I really wanted to wet me down.
Man, get out of here.
I wanted to wet me down. You guys didn't know about that infamous spray bottle. This would have been fantastic on the boat. Some of this Fox Cave Chronicle, yeah. But anyway, be sure to get you a bottle of this.
It was the same water that you said you didn't want. That
I
didn't
already dipped it open.
Yeah.
Let me make sure it's wet. Hold on.
It stay wet.
It's wet.
I know it.
Woo.
I know it is.
Okay, where we headed, Miss Fox? I have no idea what the fuck you finna ask me.
Of course you know.
Am I allowed to cuss?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to get into the background history because so who are you? You know what I'm saying? We want to know where you from, where you grew up, all that good stuff.
All right. Who? I am the child, the firstborn. I cut the womb. I made my mama grown. And I made my daddy a father. I made him a man. And I'm the son of Gwendolyn Yvonne Campbell and the son of Howard R. Sanders Sr.
Yes.
I can't find all my shit. Can I take my shit out? Yeah. Brought my bag of goodies here.
Okay.
I'm going to leave that in there.
Goodies? You didn't bring me no goodies?
I brought my goodies here. Bring me? All right. Also, I'm the grandson to T.R. Sanders. I didn't get a chance to meet my grandmother because she passed supposedly before I was born in 1963. Great year for babies. No television, no confusion.
Whoa.
All they had to do was just make a baby. Also, the grandson to Florence Campbell and Billy Campbell. Born in, am I supposed to give out all this information? I was born down the highway in Meridian, Mississippi. I have no idea. I don't know anything about Meridian, but I believe I was born in the basement. That was during segregation. So I believe I was born in the basement. We left there, and I ended up going to Hollandale, Mississippi, where my dad still resides. I want to give a shout out to the Hollandale community. Thank you all so much for loving on me. I used to get bullied as a kid, but my grandfather was a principal, and he knew how to get that ass. He knew how to get that ass, and I was a recipient of a lot of the bullying as a child in the second grade. I remember the second grade very distinctly. A lot of bullying going on, just a lot. But you know what? I was the eldest child. I had a sister named Felice Sanders. Let me just show you this. Let me
see. Yes.
That's my grandfather, T.R. Sanders, the infamous, world-renowned T.R. Sanders, and that's me in the middle.
Wow.
And that's my dad over there. I look just like my dad. People say, you look just like your dad. I say, he dug deep and went left. Hey, and then he came back and went right. And I look just like
you. Really do.
I look just like him. And I couldn't understand why my mother raised so much hell with me. But every time she looked at my red ass, she saw him. Every time she looked at me, he's still alive. I'm blessed to have him. And, I don't want to take for granted having parents, because a lot of people don't get a chance to get parents.
Man.
They don't get a chance to get them. And sometimes when they get them, they're not ready to be parents. So Fox, I was truly blessed. I still have my dad, 86. My mom has been an ancestor for the past 4 years. I got two sisters. One of my brothers is deceased, motorcycle accident. And I have another brother that's up in Atlanta. So very interesting life. This right here was taken at Mama Jackson's house in Hollandale, Mississippi. I was a king. I was on top until my sister was born.
Hey,
Hey, then it seemed like after my sister was born, they stopped fucking with me.
Oh my gosh! I wish I could show y'all.
Yeah. That picture there has got to be, what do I look, about 4 years old, 5?
I give you about 4.
About 4 years old. That's how old that picture is. That picture is over. I'm 61. That picture is almost 50. That picture there is about 50-some years old.
Wow.
That's something. That's something.
It really is.
Okay, my mother was a bad mama. Shut your mouth. Very assertive lady, very aggressive lady, and she loved people. That's my mother over there on the little fox.
With the green romper.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, look.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I gotta show y'all.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful
see if
woman.
I can put that in there.
I told my dad, hell, if I had been back in his age, I probably would have hit on her too and stuff. But yeah. And then my dad wasn't no slow guy. You know, he's very, very well taken care of man, good looking dude, quiet guy. My mother was very assertive and very aggressive. Very assertive and very aggressive. And here lately, I've just been doing a whole lot of reflection on my mother towards becoming an adult. We kind of bumped heads, I guess, because I was so much like her. My dad birthed me, but I was raised by my mother. My mother raised me, and she raised me to be the protector of my brothers and my sisters. Yeah.
And this you in the middle?
That's me in the middle with all them different. I never was a dresser. Even today, I'm not a dresser. Yeah, I just like to keep it simple. I'm fortunate because I don't chase fashions, and I don't chase other people's brands. Yeah. She taught me how to think for myself. That's another picture of Mom.
She is a really nice looking lady.
So we was in Hollandale for a couple of years, and then she moved us to Jackson, Mississippi.
So yeah,
when Jackson was the highlight of the state, and we have the potential to be that again. It's going to take a little work, little day-to-day work, some consistency, but I really believe, and I may not see it in my lifetime, but it's so important to give platforms like Seven Spaces Entertainment, Sade and her team. Have you had a chance to meet Sade and her team? Sade and her team, and a lot of the students that I'm coming in touch with. We call them the next ones up. So it's so important that they're giving,
and they are.
It's so important that they're given a platform. They would have made the difference in the election. So I'm just putting this out there that the next revolution is coming through our 8 through 35-year-olds. They make up about 42% of the population here in Jackson, with average age being 35, and that's a picture of my dad there. Yeah. All right, so I was fortunate. I started out in public schools, and then I ended up going to Catholic school. My mother was from a Catholic school in Meridian, Mississippi, so she was a strong, devoted Catholic. And I was too until I got to California in the late 80s.
Now, what, did y'all move to California?
No, I moved. After I graduated from school, I left here and went to California. I'm skipping a lot in between there. And she was a devoted Catholic. Devoted Catholic. I mean, we went to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. She had a saying, if you can stay your ass up all night, and we were children, you get your ass up and go to church. And when we would fall asleep in church, she'd reach over and thump the shit out of you on the forehead, like, So that meant that you were asleep. She thumped the shit out of you, yeah. She said, since you're so damn stupid, come here, let me thump some sense in your head. I didn't know somebody that was so much pain in that right there.
Hey, you know what else? We used to get pinched, though.
Oh,
my mom used to turn,
we get the pinch? No,
man, my mom would turn that skin on that arm, man. Oh, my God. We got the pain.
We got the thump. So I grew up in Jackson. Not far from Provine. And I distinctly remember that when we came through Provine, I didn't go to Provine, I was going to, I think we went to Christ the King. And this is when it was integration. So there was more white students than it was black students at Provine back in the 70s. But the brothers and the sisters from the neighborhood wasn't no joke. They wasn't no joke. So, they might have been outnumbered 5-1, but shit, it was like 10 of them to 1 of them.
Yeah.
That's how. And one night after a football game, I remember this as a child, the next day, we have a little alley that, not really an alley, it's just an extension of the backyard. And man, I found all these weapons, like homemade nunchucks. I found homemade brass knucks. And supposedly that Whitfield, it was Provine, St. Mary's, and then we called the school Whitfield, which is now Pecan Park.
Yeah.
Okay. And for some odd reason, I remember that a black child or some child got ran over on a motorcycle. I think it was an accident. And it set off a serious racial war after the football game over at, is that Hughes Field?
Hughes Field, yeah.
Hughes Field. So they ended up, so the European students had vehicles, and I'm just going off it. I'm not for sure. They had vehicles, and they cornered a group of black youths from the neighborhood, and they fought. They fought. They fought. And I'm sure the brothers in the neighborhood didn't take no ass whooping. So the next morning, we found all these particular weapons out there in the backyard. So that was in the mid-'70s. Ended up going to St. Joseph High School. Shout out to the Bruins. Unfortunately, I'm not a Ram. I'm not a Tiger. I'm not a Bulldog. I'm a damn Bruin. That's
I'm a Ram.
Okay, Rams in the house. So I ended up going to St. Joe and finished high school. Barely finished high school, but I finished high school. Played a little basketball out there at St. Joe. That was back in the day with Darian Hillard, I think, and Eddie Archie was ahead of us. Aaron Brandon, they were over at Callaway. Bad guys. They were a little bit ahead of us. But anyway, and finished graduating from St. Joe and didn't really have an idea where I was going to school, so I ended up going to Tougaloo College.
Great school.
Tougaloo College. College. That was in the early 80s. I don't remember the process. I think I took the ACT one time, made a 17, and shit, I didn't know anything about going to college. I just knew I wanted to get out the house. Had my first job at Chick-fil-A in the Jackson Medical Mall.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge Constantine Zabukas. And Constantine, the people across Bailey, because Chick-fil-A was right there on the corner.
I know. I probably seen you in there because my mom used to take me. We used to go in there all the time.
Gafers, J.C. Penney's, all of that was in the Jackson Medical Mall. Very thriving community back in those days. Back in I think I was 15 years of age. But anyway, right there toward the door was a counter. And, when you set the food there, the brothers and sisters would grab the food and take out across parking lot. So Constantine said, what you going to do? I'm like, shit. I wasn't cut. I said, man, I'm not going across. I'm not chasing. I don't chase food.
Right.
Yeah, once they make it across Bailey Avenue, and that neighborhood was kind of assertive over there, I said, man, ain't no way in the hell I'm chasing somebody behind damn Chick-fil-A.
Right.
So anyway, ended up going to, I'm kind of skipping. Ended up going to Tougaloo College, and I pledged a fraternity. And it's amazing how we tend to think that we're missing something. And my dad worked a lot, so he wasn't never really. I think we saw him like once or twice a month. He stayed in Hollandale. We were up here in Jackson, and I thought that I didn't have a man in my life, so I went looking for love in the wrong places. I was an older brother to my two sisters, but I wanted an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this fraternity. My dad was an Omega, but he never talked about it. He didn't preach it. He didn't push it. He just, he just never spoke on it. But when I got to campus and I saw that purple and gold, I got to have me some of that motherfucking shit there. So I ended up pledging Q Psi Phi. Mm-hmm. And nothing wrong with the fraternity. Sometimes we assimilate and we become influenced because there was a lot of older cats. I had never been in an environment where it was just black because I'd gone to private schools.
Right.
And when I got to Tougaloo, you had brothers there from New York City, Chicago, New Orleans, California, Georgia. And these cats, for some odd reason, Tougaloo was a heaven for older guys who just, for some odd reason, didn't want to leave school. So here it is, I'm a baby, 18 years old, and I'm running with these 24, 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really, because of the things that they were exposed to coming from there. And I'm not going to say they were the baddest guys coming from where they came from, but when you plop down in Mississippi and you from out of town, you the baddest motherfucker that ever walked the planet.
Yeah.
You might have been soft in your own community, but when you got here, you was that guy. So I ended up kind of just being influenced by them. And after I pledged, I want to say I probably lost my mind. We were online for about 6 weeks, 4 weeks. We were online about 6 weeks. And to give yourself to something it's just a different space. And it wasn't because, I had to belong. I just wanted older brothers. I just wanted to be in a network of older brothers.
Well, did they make you feel like you wanted, like you belong?
During the pledge period, there was a bond between, it was 8 of us. There was a bond between the 8 of us. And I don't want to share too much. I want to make sure that my discretion is down. there was a bond between the 8, even though there wasn't a bond, because some of those cats were older. So I was the baby on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I was the baby on the line. And, you know, there's a certain amount of information that you have to memorize and repeat and all this kind of. I don't do well with poems and shit. I can't recall. I can't remember a song. I can't do a verse of a poem. And, you know, there's some ass whooping going on. They getting that ass. But that didn't bother me because my mama got that ass. My mama got that ass with a razor strap. You know what a razor?
I know what
a razor strap is. 3 pieces of leather.
Yeah.
And as soon as it hit, it cuts. And she always said, she said, I'm gonna beat your ass so that the white man don't have to. And I've never had an ass whip from a white man. Never. So I want to take my hat off to my mother. It worked. Getting that ass works. They used to get ass in the school. Getting that ass works.
I've had mine.
So when they stopped getting that ass, stopped getting that ass in school, I think we kind of lost our movement. Because you got to get that ass. That ass is a sign of I love you. So anyway, so they got that ass when we was online. There wasn't no problem with the ass getting. But to answer your question, it's almost like after we went over, there was a disconnect between the big brothers and us. Because then you kind of started to see the mask fall off. You know, because a person in a position of power tends to cast out their insecurities, but because you're on the receiving end of the power, you don't realize that that person really ain't as strong as they project themselves to be. So it just kind of really showed me the makeup of people. You know, matter of fact, some of those that got the ass the most turned out to be some of the worst brothers afterwards. And I came to realize that normally a person to get the ass is one that didn't give up no ass. So kind of learned that. So in the midst of that, I was introduced to the drug culture. Marijuana, back in those days, it was speed. And I speak heavily on that because that was the turning point in my life. I lost my way as a sophomore after I pledged. I didn't care about nothing but that sci-fi. It was almost, I guess, like being in a gang to some degree. And it wasn't because you had the light, which were the good guys that went to class and did things that you're supposed to do.
Right.
Then there was a group of guys that wasn't doing shit. And for some odd reason, I guess because of coming out that environment where everything was somewhat controlled, even though it wasn't controlled, I deviated and went to the dark side. And I stayed in the dark side for almost 20 some odd years. 20 years.
Wow.
20 years. 20 years. So I learned how to. And what's funny about the weed stuff is the first night I smoked weed, I shared with my line brothers, and it was only maybe 3 or 4 of them that smoked. The other 3 or 4 didn't smoke. I said, man, I bet you if I do this, I'm going to love this. And I loved that shit for over 20 some odd years, smoking weed. And I was introduced to smoking weed. I was introduced to speed, speckled birds, 357 Magnums. You can buy this stuff right out of a magazine. It was nothing but speed, probably just just potent caffeine is what it was. But we would take it and crunch it down, snort it, put it on the weed, just all kind of just experiment. But these guys were I was the baby in the group.
Man.
Yeah. All right, do I need to pause there?
I'm like, damn, y'all, you sprinkling and breaking down.
Yeah, break it down. They was even drinking, not my fraternity, but just the adults were doing, what were they doing? Cough syrup, Benadryl. I'm like, damn, really? I tried drinking the beer and stuff, just the beer drinking and the liquor, just because I'm a overzealous person, so I'm gonna go all the way out. So I would be drunk for like 3-4 days.
Wow,
yeah, that's
man.
a bad space to be in. That's
3-4 days?
Yeah, 3-4 days. That's a bad space to be in. So I just couldn't handle the liquor. So I really got into the drug scene. I learned how to buy weed. I learned how to roll weed because you had to roll it to keep, because if someone went and bought it for you and they came back and rolled it, they'd sit there and try to smoke up your dime bag. That's when we was getting them in a little brown bags like this. Yeah, the shoebox. Yeah. Not a shoebox, but a little matchbox.
Yeah.
Fill up the matchbox, stick it in a little brown, licking, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, doing smoking weed became a everyday thing. And in 87, crack cocaine hit the city of Jackson. And I tend to believe that what we're seeing now, it's just like the 60s when the men came home from Vietnam.
From the war, yeah.
Yeah, they came home and I want to salute, I salute all my veterans.
For sure.
Yeah, because they had to go and and make sure that we represented, even though it wasn't about us representing. But I think a lot of those guys came back with PTSD.
They did.
They came back alcoholics. They came back, I think, hooked on the heroin.
Some of them came back with missing limbs, missing arms,
and all of that. So when we look at the trauma in our culture, we haven't had a break. We have not had a break. Mm-hmm. So those guys come back in the 60s. My dad almost got drafted. He didn't. He was in the 60s. Then you come 20 years later, and damn if we don't have 87, crack cocaine hit the city of Jackson. And it was like a plague. It was like a plague. And the behavior, and it hit Jackson State's campus. And what was ironic about it was brothers that weren't smoking weed went straight to the crack. Right. Yeah, because it had a little, it had the little sex stuff mixed into it. But, if you smoke crack and do powder long enough, you can't even get up with it, so it kind of runs its course on the sex stuff. And also, not to put it on the sex, we just had no idea what that was. Ain't nobody gonna wake up and say, hey, I want to be addicted to crack. But it hit our neighborhoods in 87 here in the city of Jackson. And I still think we're seeing that. We're still seeing that. Because if I was 20 something and I had a child at 20 something, then that means that when I got to be 40, that child is now 20. Which means that child has a baby. So it's still out there running rapid in our community. And then we're not even get into the behavior and stuff. So right around 87, I left here and I went to Los Angeles. And it was just a blessing because the first night I saw my people smoking crack, we went into a room, the little shotgun houses, right over there off of Martin Luther King by what's the name of the restaurant where they sell the chilies? Sylvia's. Yeah. So it was a row of shotgun houses right down there. And one of my, I'm not going to call his name out, but one of my guys, he was a lot older than us, than we were. He pledged 3 years behind. I pledged in 82. He pledged in 84. And I dropped out, not dropped out. I got put out of school. Well, my grades plummeted after I pledged. I mean, I stopped going to class. I learned how to get high. I learned how to chase girls and all this good stuff. And not blaming the fraternity, not at all. But I was now walking with the darkness. And the darkness does what it wants to. But
you were still going to school.
I was enrolled in school, but I wasn't going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was going to the campus, but I wasn't going to class. And my folks actually thought that I was attending class and stuff. Matter of fact, my dad came up here to check on me, and we had gone to Alcorn. Well, he had told myself and one of my line brothers that he didn't want me over at Jackson State because that's where I was hanging out at. My mom was a counselor over there. So I was hanging out at Jackson State with the bros, because all of those were her counselees. So I was like a little brother over there. And my dad told me that my ass better not be up at Jackson State. So we got in the car, 1963 push button control Valiant. And you know what I mean when I say push button?
Push button.
You just push it. You push park, you push drive, and the vehicle. So we rode around 220 to go to Alcorn, and we laughed about it. I said, my dad said I couldn't go to Jackson State.
Yeah.
He didn't say shit about Alcorn.
Yeah.
We went down to Alcorn for about 3 days. 3 days. And when I got back, we went in the dorm under the influence, drinking. I wasn't drinking, but I was under the influence of marijuana. I had a great time down at Alcorn. Great time. First time I pulled up on the campus and I saw all this purple, I'm like, God damn, everybody a Q down here. Even the girls had on purple and gold. But it wasn't, that just was
the school colors.
That was school colors. But I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of bros down here, even the girls' bros. So we went through that experience, came back, and believe it or not, went inside the dorm, Galloway, came back out, and I heard this horn. And I turned around, it was my father. We didn't have pagers and cell phones. We had the wall phone in the dorm. One phone on the first floor and another phone on the second floor.
Yeah.
And he had been calling for like 3 days. And basically it was whoever answered the phone would yell out whoever the call was for.
Oh, yeah.
So he showed up and he had been calling for 3 days. And this is what I told my dad. He said, man, where the fuck have you been? I said, I've been out at the reservoir. I fell asleep. That's my madness. I've been out at the reservoir for 3 days, sleep. So he immediately took me up to the dean's office, Van Allen. He just celebrated his 99th birthday. He's a bruh too. He's an Omega man. And my dad went up there to see my grades, and Van Allen slid my grades over, and I didn't have anything but C's and D's. And I looked at them grades, and I said, damn, I'm taking these classes here? I had no clue. So we went home for the break, came back, went to Alcorn. We went to Alcorn. He got the grades. By the time the semester was over with, I had 3 D's and 3 F's.
Man.
3 D's and 3 F's my sophomore year. I didn't care. I think the biggest thing that people can say to themselves is fuck it. And when you say fuck it, it's on. That means that the darkness is just, it's taken over.
You don't give a damn.
You don't give a damn. When you say fuck it, you don't give a damn. Be prepared for the consequences behind the word fuck it, because there are some consequences. So when I said fuck it at 19, that followed me up until I was 42 years of age. Now I was still functioning. I still went to work. I still was on time. I still had, good behavior. Mm-hmm. But internally, I was like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. That's a bad way to not give a fuck.
Well, what was it that made you go to California? Well, was it the drugs or what?
After I graduated, I had a partner out there named D. Dorsey. Dwight was super smart. Super smart. He got a full scholarship at the age of 16 to Jackson State, got his money, and he left. So he went to L.A. And out of all the people that I knew, he kept reaching out to me, stayed in touch. We were real close friends. We called each other's cousin. He was real close friends. And he ended up inviting me out there. He sent me all these pictures of these beautiful girls and
that's what it was.
These beautiful buildings and shit. And then when I got out there,
you had to get out there.
When I got out there, this motherfucker was living in a senior citizens building. Yes, he was. He was living in a senior citizens building. And I'm like, damn, man, you done fucked me. He didn't have a car worth anything. He was catching the bus to the club.
What happened to all the beautiful girls and
that's what I'm not even,
and stuff?
When I got there, he was married. And I'm like, dude, this who you married to? What the fuck? So here come the quiet storm. Because I'm buck wild by now. I ended up, after I left Tougaloo, I went to Mississippi Delta Junior. Did pretty good over there. Wild as hell, though, because you couldn't tell me shit. I was from Jackson. I run with these Jackson guys. Then I went from there, Mississippi Delta Junior. I went over to Delta State, and I really learned how to sell weed at Delta State. Shout out to Homer Bent, motherfucker, probably dead and gone. He was the chief of security. And we gave each other the business. We had a program at Delta State that they actually had. We had suites. I lived in a suite where there was a suite. 4 of us shared a bathroom and a shower. And you had people in the pod that were like undercovers. So I get to Delta State. I'm coming from Tougaloo. Shit, we doing everything we want to at Tougaloo. Hell, I'm smoking weed in the room. I'm just like, shit.
Wilding out.
Like, this is Candyland here and shit.
You wilding out, man.
Hey, motherfucker can't tell me nothing. I'm from Jackson.
Yeah.
Man, so I ended up getting caught in a whole lot of shit up there and, man, just got into a whole lot. Matter of fact, my second year there, chief of police and some other people came over and made an effort to bust me. And the stuff was closed, but they didn't find it. They didn't find it.
Man.
They found 3 C's in the trash can. Motherfucker was sitting in my dorm room with the trash can dumped out. And the motherfucker was sitting just like this. That motherfucker was sitting just like this going through the trash. That motherfuckers found 3 C's. They found 3 C's.
Dang, man.
I ain't did squash today. So they found 3 C's, and I ended up getting put off the campus. And that was the hardest call, was to call my dad.
For the C's.
For the C's. Mm-hmm. But they wanted more. But that's all they found was 3 C's. That's all they found was 3 C's. And
but them 3 C's, that still didn't link. That could be anybody.
No, but I already had the reputation. I had a reputation on the campus. I would roll up joints and paint them purple and gold and put my name on their roof.
Man, you know too much, man.
Just out of control. Just
wilding out for real.
Out of control. and I don't want to make this a drug story. I'm not glamorizing it, but it took out a huge ass chunk of my life. I can't even begin to imagine if I had taken that same amount of energy. But I met some really cool people. I learned a lot about the streets, but I really was a Catholic schoolboy.
Mm-hmm.
I was an innocent dude. And people just would take me under their arms and teach me shit and show me shit.
Innocent dude gone wild. That's what you were.
Crazy. And I came really close to going to the military my second year. Didn't have, because money was tight. It ain't like the way they getting money now. You know, money was real tight. My mother didn't want me using a vehicle. So I said, well, fuck it, I'm going to the military. I'm going to the Air Force. I ain't into all that push-ups and shit, and I'm cool. I ain't got time to be running and all that kind of shit. So I said, well, let me go to the Air Force. And signed the paperwork, went to Chicago, got my ears pierced on the left side. I had 2 piercings on the left side. And I actually came back. I came back and I said, fuck it, I'm not going to the military. I had signed all the paperwork correctly except for 1 page. And so I had to re-sign that page. And when I came back, I said, fuck it. We finna get it on. So I ended up not going to the military. Mm-hmm. And if I could go back in time, I really regret not going to the Air Force. I really regret that. Now, I don't know if my drug situation would have been more in control than me, because they say that you can get everything in the military, you can get out here on the streets. So I don't know. I just believe that my dad did not want me to go. He said, if you quit now, you'll always be quitting. So I ended up being in school for 7 years. And after I graduated from Jackson State, I ended up coming back to Jackson State, a school that I said I would never go to. But I've been in school 7 years. And I want you all to understand that when you're going to college and you sign them loan papers, take your time. And parents, please go with your babies and your children, because they can actually come out with $40,000 and $50,000 worth of debt. No one at the financial aid office is their friend when they're signing their names, because it's a hustle. So I ended up leaving the institution on, almost over $100,000 for 7 years worth of schooling over a period of time. And I never left the state. I never left the state. So over the years, every time it moves from this establishment to this establishment, I don't know what they're tacking on, but I said fuck it. And because I said fuck it, it has mushroomed outside of, it's just unreal what it is. So just be on top of your children going to college and making sure that you stay close to that paperwork and make sure they understand that at the end of the day, they're paying for it. Mm-hmm. When I finally came to my senses after 20-some years, I asked my dad, I said, shit, I thought you signed your name to this. I'm like, damn, I owe this. After 20-some years of being in madness, I finally came to my senses that, damn, that's a real number. Mm-hmm. And that shit got my name on it.
She got real, didn't it?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it's still real.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting now to see what's going to happen with the student loan stuff, because I'm just waiting to see what the damage is going to be when the smoke clears. Mm-hmm. So, and my credit is pretty decent. I got pretty decent credit. Shout out to Michelle Wade, credit coach, for getting my life back in line and cussing at me and making sure I wasn't doing all this old stupid stuff that I was doing. So in the last 3 years,
I need to holler, huh?
Yeah, she off the chain. You need to get on the show too. She getting that ass, and I needed somebody to get in my ass because I looked at my son and I'm like, damn man, I can't buy this motherfucker a cup of water. That's something. When you're looking at a child that didn't ask to come here and you're going to be responsible for them, mm-hmm. and you can't even buy them a cup of water with your credit. Man. So in the past in the last 4 years, I've gone from here to here. But I had to have a coach. I had to have a steward. All right, let me just show you this. That's that paper there is probably, that was 82 when T Green drew that for me. Nasty Rude Dog. This is me, and I'm kind of bouncing out. Am I doing okay so far?
Yeah, you're good.
That's me on our first coming out, our probate show. I came out with a diaper on, out of a casket.
Bruh.
Yeah. That's how I was gone.
What the hell?
The sci-fi had absorbed me. Yeah. I painted half my face purple, the other half of it was gold. Whatever I do, I'm balls to the wall.
That man said the sci-fi came out of.
Sci-fi.
What the hell?
I have been too sci-fi. And I'm not blaming the fraternity. The fraternity has nothing to do with my behavior. It's just that I was able to get, I didn't even, yeah.
Somebody else in a diaper too.
Well, let me see.
Who was that up there?
Oh, I took that show down. That's called the Lick Me, Suck Me show.
God damn, man. You be doing some shit.
I took that down to Delta State. They wasn't ready for that. We terrorized Delta State. We called it the GSC, the Girl Scout Conference. We terrorized them. So those are like two neophytes. I wasn't supposed to have access to them. Look at me, all 100 pounds, 120 pounds.
Terrible.
Yeah, with a diaper on. That's me coming out the casket.
Yeah.
Right there. All right, this down here is me. We did it. They messed around and let me step at Delta State. They let me step at Delta State. Bad mistake. It was some cussing and some vulgarity. That's purple smoke right there.
Yeah.
So that's me coming through the purple smoke.
I say it wrong.
Yeah, nasty. I lost my motherfucking mind. My mother couldn't stand that shit. This right here is the party of 100 joints. After I got kicked out of Delta State, the hardest call was to call my dad and say, man, because he had made every effort he could with the weed. He had just made every effort that he could to get me right. And I just wasn't hearing that shit. You know, I had the attitude that he had never really been around, even though it was his financing that was allowing me to be a damn fool. You know, he's paying for the gas. He's paying for the pockets change. He's paying for the car insurance. He's paying for the benefits. And I'm thinking I'm a damn man. And I'm living off another man's effort and energy. I'm a bullshit ass nigga is what I was. I'm living off another man being disobedient and you can't tell me shit. And you using your money. That's unreal. So that right there is a party called the Party of 100 Joints. I threw a party. It was called Kiss My Motherfucking Ass Party. That was my last month being up on that end of the country. And I don't know what my grades was like. I ain't had grades worth a darn. Grades just balling out. But once again, I didn't know I was paying for it. If I had known I was paying for it, I'm sure I wouldn't have had that kind of behavior.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say it was about getting attention. It was just me experiencing the wildest corners of myself in the darkness. And back in them days, you know, wasn't a lot of gunfighting going on. There was a lot of fighting going on, some stabbings, but, you know, people weren't pulling guns.
Right.
Like they weren't selling differences. Everything was settled with the hands and stuff. I've won some and I've lost some, you know, but I always went to a man one-on-one to have a conversation. I don't believe in having a crowd because when you travel with this, shit, you're 100, 150, 200 strong. That's 150, 200 problems too. So I believe in dealing with people one-on-one. I think the best way to handle a misunderstanding, number one, we didn't have all these cell phones. We didn't have this. So it wasn't no pull-up on site and all that old kind of shit. You actually had to go to a man, another young man, another person, and deal with that like that. And I want to tell you, when you pull somebody off to the side, you get a lot better results. You know, if it means you and somebody else going out somewhere and y'all doing what y'all got to do, you don't need an audience or a crowd to boost. Yep. Yeah, that's a bad environment. Okay, so that's Delta State. Then I started getting a little bit better. I'm kind of maturing a little bit now, but I'm still out there. I'm still out there. That sci-fi shit, that shit's something else. This is me in California, down at Santa Barbara. Yeah. I went and hung out with the people out in California.
Who that is flipping that on the grill, flipping that meat?
Look out now. That was he wasn't a boy, he was just my sidekick. Oh,
yeah,
he was my sidekick.
The dark chocolate.
Yeah, good guy. I don't even know if he's still alive. You know what's wild about it is I can't remember half the people's names.
Because you was sci-fi.
I was out there.
Yeah.
I was out there.
And kept that tongue out.
I had to. I just, you know, whatever I do, balls to the wall. So let me get that out your way. Oh, let me show you these damn grades. Horrible grades. Horrible.
I see an A and a B though.
Yeah, but look at what the classes are. Clay and super clay. I wasn't getting no lesson. I got all A's in sci-fi and chasing girls.
So math, you ain't got nothing.
I ain't got shit.
NG.
That means no grade. I think I ended up convincing that instructor, let me make it. Let me just drop the class.
Library studies skills, CR.
What I got? Well, I get
CR.
I don't know what the fuck CR is.
Nothing.
I ain't getting no grade. Library study skills. That's nothing.
The easiest.
The easiest classes.
Man, you terrible. Terrible.
So when I got to California, I ended up I found out about how to be an entrepreneur. And it was kind of confusing because I used to sell weed when I left here. Wasn't selling it for a profit. That's probably why I didn't get in any trouble. And I went out there and I kind of started selling clothes.
Okay.
I learned how to sell clothes. I had a guy to take advantage. What happens is when people take advantage of you, you don't have to be in a hurry to get the lesson. But if you allow how you feel like you've been manipulated or taken advantage of and learn the game, you'll go a lot further. So this guy owed me $100, not the guy there, but this guy owed me $100. And I ended up, I'm still living off of that lesson. He owed me $100 for helping him sell some t-shirts that he didn't want to pay me for. I ended up learning the screen printing game all the way through to where I'm still utilizing the skill now. That's something.
To this very day.
To this very day. And that was back in the mid-'80s. Mid-'80s now. He fucked over me.
Damn.
And being from Mississippi, I just really, like you ain't gonna take advantage of me because I'm from Mississippi. And I learned the game. And the last time I saw him, he was on somebody's table buying a space so that he could sell his stuff. And I was in there buying equipment. Yeah. And that gave me the best feeling in the world. Did this little event here. Travel all over the country selling clothes and books and stuff.
Yeah.
Behind somebody taking advantage of that I felt I could take advantage of.
You said it didn't take but one time.
It didn't take but one time. It didn't take but one time. Dallas.
Entrepreneur.
Greenville, South Carolina.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That was the first time I'd ever done a strip show with male and female exotic dancers. It was called the Ghana Club. I don't want to run out of time.
But you know what?
What's that?
Back in the day like this, you had a lot of people that were selling clothes and stuff, like on corners, on street corners.
But that was after I came back. It wasn't that relevant when I first got back. It wasn't that relevant. Yep. Got a little shop downtown, and that's Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson made an effort to beat me out, some product of the Jackson State game. And I told him,
that's you with Samuel Jackson, man. I ain't never seen him there, y'all.
That's when he did Pulp Fiction. And when he came up to the booth, I think it was Jackson State playing Valley, and he happened to be out there that day. And he walked up, he said, "Man, you ought to give me one of these hats." I said, "Nah, man, we ain't giving away shit but bubblegum and dickhead. I'm out of bubblegum." You see what I'm saying? And I said, "Brother, you look like the guy in Pulp Fiction." I didn't even know his name. I didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I'm not him." I said, "Well, shit, you look like him. Let me get this photo." He said, "It's going to be one of the most expensive photos you've ever got." And come to find out that was actually him.
Sure is. That's him.
Did the Million Man March in 95.
Man, look at all these people, man.
And they swore down it wasn't a million out there.
That's
it was every bit.
A lot of people.
Ended up being, that didn't smell, out of all those folks that was out there that day, this day here was an actual day. No weed. Didn't smell no weed.
Oh, they were about business.
Didn't smell, but all these personalities didn't smell no weed, and nobody was drunk.
They had a mission, man.
Hey, wasn't nobody drunk. Wasn't nobody drunk. And I ended up going with this brother here, Fred Williams, bless his soul. He's gone. He's an ancestor now, and that's my brother over there, Micah. Both those young men are no longer on this walking on this earth right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. That's that. Throw that down there. It's almost 8 o'clock. Help me get my ass out of here. Now, what changed my spirit in my life? And hopefully you'll allow me to come back. Hopefully you'll allow me to come back. I was blessed with this.
I know who this is.
I was blessed with that. And I'm going to tell you the little story behind that before I get up out of here. And hopefully I've made some sense this evening. And it's all about a revelation. It's all about being honest with yourself. It's all about knowing that there's more inside of us than sometimes what we see in ourselves. I ended up getting a lady pregnant. And I was really scared because I was drugging really hard behind this. And I've even did a little PCP. That's a scary man. Oh, that PCP was something else. I did that stuff twice. And a lot of people do that and don't even come back to their right frame of mind. But I did PCP twice, and it wasn't a good experience at all. Did a little coke, that was right around when Leon Bias, the basketball player, I think he played for Maryland. That brother got drafted by the Celtics. I don't know whether, I think he snorted first round. Bad basketball player, bad. And he ended up dying like was about 48 hours, Mr. Red, at a party, snorting powder. And that really kind of spooked me. But I noticed that in my addiction days, it's almost like every 6 years I was reintroduced to powder. Every 6 years. And I'll come back and tell that story because my downfall actually came behind the powder. And what's so weird about it is I've been out there drugging for 20 years, selling, moving weed. Crack cocaine hit the city in 87. My boys were selling crack. And man, I said, man, how y'all, I mean, the behavior on that is so off the chain. People knocking on your doors at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I mean, it wasn't like selling weed. You get a sack of weed and you see somebody in 4 or 5 days. But I said, you know, something ain't right with that crack stuff. That's a whole nother story. But I had this child. And the day that I went there to see this, I was so scared that my son wasn't gonna have all his toes. He wasn't gonna have all his fingers. His eyes weren't gonna be right because I was infested. Because I smoked all day, every day. I couldn't remember a day in 20 years that I hadn't been high. You know, everything that I did sexually was behind the drugs. So I didn't even know how to be a person without being under the influence. That's something for 22 years. For 22 years. So when I went in there to see this, and I counted his toes and I counted his fingers, I couldn't believe that I was a parent because I was 39. I couldn't believe ain't nowhere in the hell I done had a baby. But God will give you, the universe, your higher power will give you what you need to have if you just take time, back up, and listen. And this was the difference in my life. So the second 20 years was a totally different approach. Yeah, I had to have some other things that happened to me to really like just put some of that behavior aside. But there was no better high than being a parent. Right. And then to Skip, and this is his mom right there. She was like 14, 15 years younger than me. Yep, I should have never stopped. Because after I met her, I liked them. I don't want no motherfucker my age. I don't mean no harm. I'm sure there's somebody out there my age, but yeah. And she, we ended up going through a whole lot, but she made me a better person. Yeah, had some evil moments. And I'm gonna tell men out there, once you have the baby, my dad used to tell me this. He said, now, it ain't about you and her. It's about that child.
Right.
It ain't about what she doing. It's about how you stay in that child's life by all means necessary. And it has not been easy, but it has been well worth it. But to skip a little bit ahead now, I've raised my son that darkness comes for all of us at some point. And I always said that if I was a member of the darkness, then what's the best way to get me back in? It goes after something you love. It goes after something you love. So, but this has been the changing moment of my life. Yeah. The only difference is now I'm having to look at him as a 22-year-old and not a 14-year-old. Yeah. So I'm hoping that I made some sense tonight. I hope there was some clarity tonight.
Man. If you don't hold up, man, you'd have been so serious all night. We got to get to the fun part.
Oh, shit. You asked me about myself? Oh, I went back to school. And ended up, I think when I left Jackson State, I had a 2-point-something average. Went back to grad school, ended up with a 3.85.
Oh, yeah, you reversed all that. Yeah.
I had to prove to myself.
But it was already in you, though.
Oh, so we got to do that when I come back.
Nah, we finna do this right now, man. Stop playing. You ain't finna think you finna shortcut my show, man.
Oh, man.
It's time for this or that. My people already know. For the ones that just tuning in, though, that don't know, this is a game we call this or that. Just shake this bucket up, man. You're going to pull a question out. You're going to read it. And you got to pick one, this or that. Now, if you get something in here about some weed or alcohol, you just throw that to the side.
I already covered that.
And y'all know we always branding. It's always about the Fox Cave Chronicles brand. You feel me? All right, you ready, man?
Yes, sir. Something else I want to share with the audience is everybody has their own unique story. And hopefully there's something that you grasp in your story, because we tend to want to be judgmental of what somebody else is going through. Focus on your story. And that way you won't have some of the pitfalls that some of us have had. I'm non-judgmental. I don't judge anybody. I don't blame and shame, because I got to hold up on my own.
All right.
Damn, I
had to shake it up because all of them in there. I ain't take nothing out.
I know it went by fast.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I got to go.
Right.
How many?
Man, pull.
How many?
Pull one at a time.
How many questions am I supposed to?
Come on, man. Okay. You asked me a question.
God, damn, I'm running.
You ain't at your show.
I like the control.
You at my show. Yeah. What you got?
Ghetto hood rat or classy chick? Ghetto hood rat or classy chick? I've always dated classy chicks that didn't have any support. But I like I've always dated classy chicks. Yeah, hood rat to get you, you know, they don't have anything to lose. Did I answer your question?
Okay.
Classy chick.
All right.
Yeah. But I do like a little hood every night.
Man, yeah, I always try to do that.
I gotta have a little hot. I gotta have a little hot gossip.
Nah, you said classy chick.
Yeah, I gotta have a little hot gossip.
Nah, you said classy chick.
I can't stand texting. I got to hear your voice.
You got to read it though.
Oh, call or text.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I got to call. It might be a nigga with rusty elbows on the other end of that phone. Shit, I need to hear your voice. God damn. Yeah. I went on the site and met a person at a restaurant. He thought he was a woman. It wasn't a woman though.
Damn.
Yeah, he thought he was a woman. Clothes or shoes? Neither one.
No, you gotta pick one.
Clothes or shoes? Shoes.
Okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could always tell a person by their feet.
Looking at, yeah.
Yeah, look at the feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can have a raggedy shit on, but if your shoes was right.
You in the game.
You in the game.
All right. Shit, a fresh pair of kicks will make the whole outfit look good.
Rich or famous? I've always been fortunate to be somewhat famous, known, and not rich. I tend to think people that are rich tend to have a sour disposition. We sold some shirts at the Harlem Night Show. And do you know the motherfuckers wouldn't even buy a Kid and Play? The nigga with the eraser hair.
Yeah.
I went up to him, I said, brother, can you support? And he walked past, I said, that's why I don't listen to your motherfucking music. Mike Tyson was there that night.
Yeah.
And Mike's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. Man. Yeah. Hey, when Mike peeled out and got in the car, 300 got in the car. So he the real deal.
Yeah.
He was young back. That was back in the mid-'80s. Oh, I thought you was going to be asking something. I done told all my goddamn business, didn't have to. Beach vibes or pool vibes? Ain't nothing like being at the beach. Santa Monica Pier, Santa Monica Beach, ain't nothing like it. So I prefer the beach. Yeah, pool just the beach. Just hearing those waves coming up on the waves coming up on the sand, the water coming up on the sand, just hearing the sound of the ocean, nothing like it. Nothing like it.
All right, we're down to the last two. You've been pretty safe with yours.
Yeah, I have. I already told all my damn business.
I'm saying with this, you ain't pulled out nothing.
Fat ass or big titties. I love me some titties. My mama didn't breastfeed me. But now I find myself doing this. See, in Atlanta, you can do this shit. Hey, my mama didn't breastfeed me. I love me some titties. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mama cheated me out. She stuck a nipple in my mouth. I ain't get the real nipple. I got this bullshit. So I love me some big titties. But in Atlanta, it is common when the sisters walk by, it's okay to do this. And look, so now I catch myself looking at ass too.
Oh, but
I'm a titty man.
Okay.
Yeah, you ain't got to have no ass as long as you got some titties. Yeah, I'm good.
So too soon. All right, it's the last one on here.
All right.
Let's see what it's gonna be.
This one folded. This one been touched a whole lot right here. Johnny Carson used to do this. All of the above.
Stop it.
Oh, football or basketball? I'm a basketball player. Yeah, I didn't do well in football.
Okay.
Yeah, I got knocked out in the 8th grade.
Damn.
Yeah, the kid shouldn't have been out there. He from St. Andrews. Motherfucker had hair on his legs about that long. His name was Stuart Burgess. Ain't no way in the hell that guy was in the 8th grade.
Damn, man.
Yeah. He come around the end. I come around the end. That motherfucker hit me. All I saw was black and white.
God.
Hey. My daddy told me I wasn't no more good in football after that.
It was a rap after that.
That motherfucker ran through me.
Damn, man.
Had hair on his legs that damn long. 8th grade. Yeah.
Terrible.
All
terrible.
right.
What did you think about this or that?
That was very interesting. That was very interesting. I believe that it's real important to share with people your highs, your lows, and your in-betweens. And where I've been, I don't regret none of it. I'm just blessed. My angels have really wrapped their wings around me and kept me safe. Looking for love in the wrong places will get you fucked up. It will. Love yourself more so than anybody else could ever give you the love. I think our parents bring us in the world, but it's us to define loving ourselves. If you love yourself, you won't fall prey to some of these temptations that's out here. Hopefully I shared something that makes a little sense and I didn't seem like I was glamorized, and I've come a long ways. This is something that my mother wrote. I got one more thing I want to share. When I went into treatment, the Harbor House, shout out to the Harbor House.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's out on, is that 20? Going to New Orleans, Byron, is that 20 or 55? 55, I get confused. The Harbor House, my drug usage came to a screeching halt in 2005. May of 2000, May. I came out in July. I came out the day before my son's birthday out of treatment. That was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because what I was getting involved over in Atlanta probably was going to get me caught up in a situation I couldn't get out. I'm a smooth talker. I can get out of situations just from conversating and just my mannerism. But it came to a screeching halt in Pelahatchie, Mississippi. Pelahatchie, Mississippi. We had some stuff in the car. About 2:30 in the morning, I had a lady in the car with me. And coming across Pelahatchie, under the influence, I had passed out in the car because I knew I had some other stuff I was going to do when I got to Jackson. And I looked up and I saw these flashing lights. I said, who the fuck they behind?
You?
And the female said, they behind us. I said, they behind us. So didn't get a chance to clear nothing out the car. And I'm this type of guy, we ain't throwing nothing out. I'm gonna talk us out of this. And sure enough, that cop, that young white guy told me, he said, we stayed on the side of the highway about 2.5 hours. And he said, I'm gonna save your life tonight. And I wanna thank you wherever you are because you saved my life. He ended up taking me to jail after they searched the car. He told me he was going to get the dogs. And I said, I thought about it. In my mind, I said, shit, these motherfucker probably ain't got no dogs. I said, go on get the dogs. You know, I already told me I can go home. And sure enough, the dog was a black guy. The dog was a black guy. So he came back, he searched that car again, and he came back to me and he said, I don't know whether that's a big ass piece of crack or a big piece of meth, but we got your ass. That's what he told me. Mm-hmm. And he ended up taking me to jail. Took me and her to jail. She had an ankle bracelet on. Took she and I to jail. I was bringing her back here to take the ankle bracelet off. And the white guy came out the back with a big old package of coke. That's what it looked like to me. He said, I could write you up for this. He said, I could write you up for this. Just be thankful that you're not getting rid of for this. And he said, we're going to take you over here to Rankin County, and I'm going to make sure we put you in a safe place. He said, I really like you. This man had to be about 20. I was in my 40s. He had to be in his late 20s. And I asked him, I said, what made you pull me over? And he said that when I came across that, whatever, I think it's a hill or something out there, when I came across that hill, that horizon or whatever, he could see that car moving like this. So he thought I was weaving across the line. 4 hours prior to that, coming through those hills between Georgia and Alabama, I asked my little friend girl, I said, is the car moving from side to side? And I bust out laughing because I'm under the influence. I bust out laughing. And she said she didn't know. He said he saw that car moving like that. And what had happened was the week before we left, I had an axle change on that vehicle. Didn't get a front end alignment. 3 days before we left, I got pulled over going from her apartment to go get some more blunts and with some other stuff we was doing. And I had that on me. And the police officer pulled me over and he stuck his head because he was looking for alcohol. Because if he had looked in my face, he could have seen that I was glazed out here. But he was smelling for alcohol. So he let me go. And when I got back to the apartment, I just laughed. I said, I'm the gingerbread man. Ha, ha, ha. You run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. The day that we left, I got pulled over.
Got caught.
And I had I'm talking about before we left Atlanta. And I had drugs in the car. And I talked us out of it. So I'm on a high. I'm rolling. We get down to Pelahatchie. It came to a screeching stop. And that was 2005. So what I'm getting at is I got away with the madness for 20 some odd years. And I got stopped in LA, downtown, buying stuff. And guys talked to me like I was a kid. 2 white cops told me, you know better. You're a college student. Ain't no reason you're supposed to be down here. That was 18th Street, down in Pico and Hoover, down in that area. So I've gotten away a lot. But then it came to a screeching halt. And what I realized that night when they took me way back up in that cell, they didn't make me spread my cheeks and stuff. But they did make me put the suit on with the little numbers and shit, and the tears were coming out because I thought I was going to just get in a holding tank and bond on out and get on up out of there. I ended up being stuck here. I didn't go back to Atlanta for almost 7 years. Got put on probation. Couldn't because of what I had in the car. My driver's license had been revoked. But when I went back there in that cell, I finally realized that I couldn't talk myself out. And I stepped on my cellie getting up on my bunk. I'm like, God damn, who is that I had stepped on? And I ended up getting out of there at 6 o'clock that evening. And the guys in the cell kept telling me to wait till the lights go out and they're going to teach me how to tell time off the windowsill and all this kind of shit. And I got out of there right at 6 o'clock. The guys in there told me, man, ain't no way you're getting out. Not over the weekend. And that was a wake-up call. That was a wake-up call. And my dad came and got me. And he looked me in the face. And he doesn't raise his voice. He said, I'm not coming again. This is my last time. This is my first. I'd only been to jail twice. I've been to jail behind having something on me. One time I was in the car with him. But that time it was a little bit more extensive. So anyway, what I'm getting at is whatever we do, we will pay for it. And what we don't listen to other people, life will teach us. So I've been clean for 20 years, but I wake up every day fighting that battle to stay clean. Yeah. So,
all right.
So it's been a blessing. Hopefully I shared the right information. But it's to make sure that you can believe in yourself that, and I always said this, when I die, y'all pass by the casket and throw something in there. So when I get where I'm going, I can hit me one. 20 years I've been right. 20 years. I'm scared I'm nervous as hell now. I don't want to be right. No problems. Yeah. So I want to thank you, Foxy, for allowing me to come in here and share. And hopefully the listening audience, viewing audience got out of it what they could. Yeah.
Go ahead and let the people know how they can tap in with Community Strong.
Community Strong
for
Jackson
when do you
MS.
air and how can they?
Community Strong for Jackson MS. And I want to make sure that the people know that we get one vote. 95,000 registered voters in the city of Jackson. Only 20,000 came out. I'm seeing a lot of bullying going on. I'm seeing a lot of information being passed. You get one vote. Let everybody vote one time. You can tap in or connect with us. Community Strong for Jackson MS. It's a Facebook group. About over 2,500 strong. It's a vessel for you all to use it to promote lifting, uplifting. It's non-judgmental, no blaming and no shaming. Nobody's in a position to blame and shame the other person. We do a podcast, Facebook live stream. Everything is a podcast. Now we do a Facebook live stream on Thursday nights called Community Conversation. That's from 7 to about 8:30. It's all about lifting people. You know, just share your story. You don't have to be on the defense. It's strictly offense. It's all about loving on community. On Sundays, we do the Solid Rock Show, 10:30 a.m. And then we turn around and we do Community Strong for Jackson MS. 601-937-5671. I love me enough to know that when the burning stops, the healing starts. So what I shared tonight is hopefully something, because people always misjudge the story of what somebody else is inking. And I end up connecting with people all through the day. And my job is to empower, to show love, joy, lift, and faith that you can get to a better place. Yeah. Because you can't see the brokenness sense. You can't look at me and say, oh, I just, oh, you do that, or you can't look at people and tell where they are in their story. I want to thank Foxy. Once again, it's always a blessing to collaborate with people in the community. I want to thank Mr. Red here at the Club Oasis. And may you all continue to follow Foxy, and may Foxy be blessed to continue to give people a platform to share. Just don't misinterpret it.
Well, here at the Fox Cave Chronicles, we are all about giving. So on behalf of the Fox Cave Chronicles
team,
we got no, you ain't getting me, baby. You ain't getting me. You better come audition for Fox and Fine Love.
Hey, my mama didn't breastfeed me.
Yeah, true though. Yeah. Okay. Now I normally I know. Hey,
my fault.
Don't do that.
Okay, my fault.
Hey. I'm trying to do this.
Did you just check me?
Yeah, I did. I had to go ahead and check you real quick. All right. Now, normally, I have a gift bag, but I messed around and left it on the couch.
Let me tell you something. I am so humble.
But
I am so humble.
We just want to give you a token of our appreciation. We just want to say thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to come chop it up with Foxy. And just know that you're always welcome.
I'm gonna be able to come back
here at the Fox Cave Chronicles. I don't know, you might not. But this is for you.
Thank you, Foxy.
That's for you.
I drank my water up.
You did.
Can I put this in here?
You can. You can. How can they follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Community Strong 4, Jackson MS, the number 4. And can I share one more before I go?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm aware that the strength and knowledge I've gained from my experiences can help other people who are on the same path. Sharing my successes lifts others up, and sharing my mistakes protects them.
All right.
It's the hey, nasty rude dog. Arf. Arf.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We want to thank Mr. Hey for swinging down the Fox Cave Chronicles for this dope interview. I want to wish you the best.
Hey, I got to get my
success,
shit. Man. I got to get my shit up out of here.
Much success.
Oh, man. You know what? Being around greatness means that I'm on the right path to greatness. And thank you for being greatness. I would have never thought I would have met you.
Man, hey.
And we just getting started.
Just getting started.
Got
to know.
Oh, please tune in Thursday. We've got the cast from The Brownie. It ought to be really interesting. Very great play. Dealing with day-to-day situations. Also on Friday, we got Mayor Lumumba that's going to come out and spend a little time conversation with us. On Sunday, I'm not for sure who we got, but on Tuesday, we've got Senator John Horn.
Okay.
And our platform is an offensive platform, and you don't have to come on and be defensive. 601-937-5671. Connect with us so you can share your story and get your ass up off the couch.
That's right.
And do some work. Nobody's coming to save us. No one person can save us. Jackson needs all hands on the oars.
All right, tap in. Okay, y'all. I will be accepting song submissions for our new reality TV dating show. I have a meeting tomorrow with my executive producer. So once I get the okay from him about how we're gonna do the song submissions, I'll let you all know. But we will be accepting song submissions for Foxy Finds Love. Damn. So submit your song. Your song might be played on my new reality TV dating show.
And
so
congratulations.
Song submissions.
Hey, where's the midget to pick my shit up?
No, you the midget. So get ready to submit your songs, y'all. Get ready to submit your songs. Once again, auditions will be held July the 26th at Social Club Jackson. We're working on the time. We're working on the flyers. Shout out to my graphic designer. She getting the logo ready for the show. This is about to be so big, y'all. That's all I can say. Get in, man.
You deserve it.
Get in. We're going to make this thing real big, real huge for the summer. Just in time for the summer. You know what I'm saying? So come on out and audition. That's all I can tell you. Make sure y'all tune in. Next Monday night, we got Doodleville Dave in the Fox Cave, man. And I'm looking forward to a dope interview with him, man. So if y'all pull up or tune in, but we got Dave in the cave next Monday night. You feel me? Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at the Fox Cave Chronicles. Join the group. We're trying to build our Instagram followers up, and every time I go on there, we got some new followers. So keep on following us. Keep on following us. No more dates for season 5. It's a wrap. Season 5 ends July 14th. That's the last show, and I'm the guest. So yeah. Okay. It's a wrap. Get in for season 6. That's all I can tell you. Shout out to my team, Rooster Black and Jonathan Hollins. And y'all do know our donations for the show are welcome. All you gotta do is cash app $FOXXYFIT. $Foxy Fit. All donations go straight to the show. And whether we get them or not, just know season 6 of the Fox Cave Chronicles. Lord have mercy. We're going up, baby. That's all I can say. We're going up. Whole new set. So get ready for what's to come for the Fox Cave Chronicles. You feel me, Mr. Hey.
Hey. And thank you so much for Club Oasis for making me feel like I'm at home, like I'm in Cleveland,
Mississippi. Gotta know. 944.
This is a much larger spot than in Cleveland, Mississippi.
944.
Thank you, Mr. Red.
944. Robinson Street.
It's not Robinson Road.
Robinson Street.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, Robinson Street.
Right. Very nice.
And this venue is available to book for your next event. Nice. So if you want to have a party, you want to have a baby shower, you want to have a brunch, anything, holler at International Red. He can give you details about booking Club Oasis.
Do I get my key now?
You get your key probably.
Mr. Red said, hell no.
Get your key probably 2029.
All right. You guys have a safe evening.
All right, y'all. Fox Cave out.